What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. You see the subscribe button. Make sure you click it. Make sure you've turned on your notifications, like and comment. We want to hear your thoughts as we interact with you, our viewers. Big day today in recruiting. Could be some things dropping. We know that Red River rivalry always is important to win, not just for your season and where you want to be, but also in your future and how many maybe commits you can get after that ball game. And guys, there could be some things dropping. We're going to talk about those right now. Let's get to it.
Yeah, obviously you got the commitment later today with Daniel. Things looking good there. But, the Hayes Fawcett tweet last night was just multiple announcements coming tomorrow. Who knows what that is? There's some stuff. It could be nationwide if it's in regards to OU. I mean, you got to think of some names like Grant Briggs. We've been talking about Grant Briggs for a while, right? And where he's kind of leaning and everything. And it's been very quiet on his end. That's the way he kind of rolls, right? So, and I think maybe Brody or somebody said on a previous video that he would not be shocked if Grant Briggs announces like Eli Bowen did. And it just kind of comes out of nowhere and he makes an announcement. I think that's a name to keep an eye on just because, OU won OU Texas. And let's just be honest. The football videos that OU's been putting out this week are ridiculously good. And if you're a recruit watching that, I'm sorry, how are you not excited to go play there, right? I mean, that's a great advantage for the OU video is doing. They're insanely good.
Yeah, OU has the best social media team in the country. They've had that for a long time. It first started with like Zach Heffley. He did a lot of stuff like when Baker was still here. It's crazy to think that was 6, 7, 8 years ago when he was starting all that. I know he did the Pretenders video at one point with Baker. And then now you have that Oklahoma fears God, Texas fears Oklahoma quote from Danny Stutzman. That whole OU DNA episode was just wow. Like that is a cinematic masterpiece, what they put together, just showcasing not only the players in that moment, but the coaches as well. We saw all the coaches really had a moment to be able to get their position groups fired up before biggest game of the year in Dallas.
Hey, Jay, Hunter, Briggs. What's his other option, guys? Go ahead and tell me again.
Nebraska,
exactly.
Kansas State, those two.
Hey, come on. He watches football on Sundays. It would not shock me one bit exactly what you said, Jay. Maybe under the radar, flies under the radar, but we know that Bill Beatenbow puts talent out and they play on Sundays, a lot of them. That would be massive if that were to happen. We're not saying that is happening. Definitely a possibility, but I'm going to say something else. Todd Bates, look, the poetic nature of this dude, the acronyms that this guy throws out there, I get goosebumps and chills every time I read one. So inspirational, motivational, and I don't know who it could be, but never know who else they might get on that side of the ball either, guys.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, Jerm. It's just a matter of the timing of this announcement from Hayes Fawcett. I know who you're alluding to there, 5-star by the name of Williams Nwaneri. Don't think this is going to be the time where we see him flip. Obviously, it could happen, but it's just Missouri's 5-1 right now. OU is riding a lot of momentum. They're number 5 team in the country. Big time win, all-time game in the Red River rivalry. So the recruiting is eventually going to take a jump from that. That's just how that game works. You win that game, it's a lot easier to recruit. A decision from him, if that were to happen, a flip, a decommitment, anything like that, I think it'd be later down the road, closer to early signing day.
You're right, and a lot of things go into play with that. And obviously, if a guy's going to flip, he's got to decommit first, so that would be the first announcement. Which Missouri just got a decommitment this last week from a guy, one of their higher recruits, just decommitted from Missouri. It's shocking, but you look at, I'm just saying, Williams Nwaneri teammate last year, Caden Green. Played pretty well in the Red River rivalry as a freshman.
Very well. Shutting
I'd have
down,
noticed it. I'd have noticed it. And another
shutting
thing
down
is,
a future NFL star
yeah.
on the Texas defensive line.
And another thing, I'm going to give kudos here to Danny Okoye, and this is what I mean by this is Danny Okoye earlier in the year when he kind of started thinking about going to OU again. He said he wanted to give them another chance and see, guys. He knows what he was watching, okay, and the turnaround of the defense, and he could see it early on this year. He said it's different, and that's the culture with Brent Venables. It's the physicality. How many times have you heard this week about how OU was the aggressor? They were the ones bringing physicalness to Texas. And, hey, the recruiting is just going to keep going on the rise, right? I mean, if you land Daniel today and you get Boganowski on the 19th, I think you're already up to number 6 at that point in the class probably. Guys,
What about Powers?
That's definitely another possibility down the road for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm glad you brought up the Danny Okoye thing on the defense, especially. He visited for the first game of the year against Arkansas State, talking about how great the defense was. A lot of people, really everyone, was, well, this is Arkansas State. You should do that defensively. You should not allow a point. You should look very dominant the entire way through. And then you have SMU defense as well. Well, it's SMU. They're not Power 5. Then you have Tulsa. Defense does really well besides a few miscues, allowing 17 points. Well, it's Tulsa. And then Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati. But they did it. They're the first team since Alabama to not allow a touchdown in that game. And then Iowa State. Well, it's Iowa State. We saw it. The Brandon Walker clip to open up that video that OU put out. Fakest team in America. And then OU is able to do what they did defensively against Texas, against a team that a lot of people, including myself going into that game, said should be the number 1 team in the country. They picked off Quinn Ewers on the second play of the game, put the ball in the offense's hands. They go score quick. Then pick them off again the next drive from that hit from Billy Bowman. Kendall Dolby makes that play. And then Peyton Bowen, a freshman, forcing a fumble on Quinn Ewers. Then we're talking about the goal line stand. That's 4 plays of that relentless, relentless, suffocating defense. Is that what Brent Venables said when he got hired back in December 2021? Danny Okoye saw that from week 1, from going to that game. He was at the Arkansas State game. He saw this defense is special when not many people did outside of the people in the walls of the Switzer.
Well, Hunter, another thing is Todd Bates. Everybody knew it before he got hired. The development of what he does to defensive line play. And just go look at OU's defensive line right now. Guys that have been there a few years, some of them are playing out of their minds. Ethan Downs is a animal, okay?
Look, yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of guys. The guys that get out of the portal, Jacob Lacey, Dejon Terry, they're playing at the highest potential. And that's because Todd Bates, he gets you to that level.
Look, the narrative has been flipped, okay? The question was, could Todd Bates maybe land one of the top dudes? We all thought he could coach, and now he's starting to do both. It's scary. The floodgates, guys, to the Palace on the Prairie are open, and there's going to be plenty of defensive dudes, dogs, floating that way towards Norman and Todd Bates and Miguel Chavis. It is a super bright future in Norman. The recruiting's on the rise, guys. Today's going to be a great day. We know. How great is it going to be? To be determined. Till next time, Boomer.